Welcome back to episode 3 of Next Gen Agent, the podcast for real estate agents who want to become more successful, build better client relations, and all while doing it while being a good person. I'm Bowie, and with me today, Nathan Najib. How are we?
Doing good, thank you. It's nice to be back. Nice to be back.
We're officially in a recession for the second time in 18 months.
We are, man. We are. And it's interesting how like people like, when you're having conversation with people, like it was like a few weeks ago, they didn't announce recession. Now all of a sudden the media is talking about it and everybody's like kind of on the edge. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Because at the start of the year, everyone's mindset, happy days, the market's going up.
Right?
And
they
now,
were saying that.
Yeah, they were. Insanity. Everyone was. Some of them are still saying it. Some of the haters are still saying it. But
interesting, huh?
It is interesting. Anyway, we'll have a video out on that soon on the Najib Real Estate channel. So make sure to check that out. Right, before we get into today's topic, I'll give you a quick rundown on the show. So each week, me and Nathan, we sit down for 30 minutes on a Tuesday and we discuss tangible tips to help you become a better real estate agent. Today will be part 1 of a 3-part series, and we'll be discussing the Najib Triad. In particular, we'll be discussing mindset today. So, Nathan, explain to me what the Najib Triad is.
Yeah, so I think it's like a recipe to become successful, right? You've got most in our industry, there's no direction. There's very little direction and things. So what we've created here is, and I've been working this for the last 17 years, is you've got this recipe, and once you hand this on to somebody who is diligent and follow step by step, they can become successful. Inevitable. It happens every single time as long as they follow the triad, as I call it. They've got the mindset. Mm-hmm. They follow the system that we've created over the years, and then they work on their skill set to improve. And I say this, I've spoken about this in the past, that if you can give me a person who is audacious, who's humble, a decent, good human being, committed, wants to go places, right? And committed to, yes, I will do everything it needs to be done to succeed, and then has got a sport mind, like has got the discipline when he falls or she falls, gets back up, and as well as coachable, then we can create something a special, what I call a millionaire real estate agent, out of him or her.
Yeah.
And the reason majority don't succeed is because they haven't got those traits, 1, and number 2, there's no system. They're not working on their skill because they don't know where to start, kind of thing, right? And obviously the mindset that comes as the things Tony Robbins, one of the guys that I admire, he talks about his success is 80% psychology and 20% mechanics. So yes, skill set, important. System, very important. Well, mindset is the 80% of success, I feel like.
Okay. So let's delve deep into the mindset. So if you're listening to this podcast, imagine a triangle, so the Najib Triad. At the top is mindset, the bottom right corner is skill set, and the bottom left is systems. We're going to talk about mindset today, so right at the tip of the triangle. Why do you just touched on this? Why do you think most agents do fail? Just before this podcast was speaking, how many agents move from real estate to selling cars to insurance. They take what you could say the easier path, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think many fail?
I think everybody wants to do well in life, right? And there's a lot of people that makes sound real estate so easy, right? It actually isn't. It's a very rewarding job, no question about it. But it isn't easy. So they come in hoping that they're gonna become super successful, and they see these guys and girls driving nice cars and selling houses, being in suits and nice dresses. It's inspiring, sounds cool, right? And then when they come in, then they're on commission only, the mindset. They can't, obviously, if you've been on weekly wages, it's very hard to be on commission. There is no direction. So there is no system there what to do. So you come in to the office, okay, here's the yellow pages. Back in the days when I started 17 years ago, here's the yellow pages. These the big phone we used to have. Make your phone calls and see at the top kind of thing, right? Well, that's the same sort of kind of mentality, like, start making phone calls and go and chase listings and find yourself listings kind of thing, right? There's no proper system to follow to how to build your own personal brand. We've spoken about that in episode number 1, about the second episode.
Yeah, episode number 2, yeah.
And then obviously skill set. Real estate is very simple. The thing is, like, when skill set is lead generation, lead conversion, and then nurturing those clients, right? And once you do get those 3 things right, you become successful. Obviously, the mindset is like 80%, as I quoted that Tony Robbins quote.
So what can agents do to build a stronger mindset, more resilience?
Yeah, I think the mind, if you want to start getting work on your mind, obviously, right? There's the saying that if you want to, you challenge yourself in slightly slowly, and then you do all these crazy things, right? So all of a sudden, if I give you like a whole lot of things to do right away, like, you got to get up at 5 a.m. You got to do your half an hour reading, 1 hour reading. You got to do meditation. You got to do all those things. It's kind of like, you're like, cool, man, this is too much, right? So what I'm suggesting is, like, adapt small things, routines or rituals that you add to your life. For example, like, maybe waking early is not something you do. Well, wake up early, do a little bit of exercise, and then go to the office in a certain time every day, and make a schedule, like, I'm going to prospect every single day for a couple of hours. And slowly you can turn the dial up.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you will see, oh man, I'm doing so much, and it just feels normal to me.
Yeah, that's true. When a new agent, say, starts here, an 18-year-old coming in, they've just left school, what's the first thing you will tell them about mindset? Like, is there any, like you mentioned, going to bed early?
Yeah.
Is there anything that you tell them to do in their day-to-day as a real estate agent to get better and build that mindset?
So I can speak to an 18-year-old
Yeah.
or somebody who's starting from nothing very well, because that's where I started, right? So if you want to learn how to do something, you go to a practitioner and learn from it. So I can definitely speak to somebody who's 18, just coming from school or maybe working for a year and want to get into real estate. But in general, right, there's this thing called looking out for listings, which is called prospecting, right? If you put like 100 of agents in a room for me, and you say these 10 of them that are like top performers, and then there's 20 that are okay performers, and there's other 70 they are doing average, just an average agents, right? I bet the top 10, the 10 of them, they've got some sort of routine. They will prospect every single day, regardless of how busy they are. They'll prospect for 2 or 3 hours a day. A prospecting is, what is a prospecting? Looking for business, making outgoing phone calls, putting everything on silent. All you're doing is just making outgoing phone calls and looking for how we can help people. So those, I think, what makes the agents that are the top performers. I don't care if you're 18. If you come as an 18-year-old, I'm suggesting you come in and work with somebody who's done it before and is happy to teach you. So my recommendation will be is, like, for now, because I know what really works. I've been doing it for so many years, right? And I've actually put the system. We put this in place now. We've got a actual system, like, from A to Z, how to how to build a brand within a brand. So first thing I would be like, here is an area that I want you to work.
Yeah.
Just go and door knock, introduce yourself to these 100 clients,
Yeah.
100 owners of the property. And don't look for business, just go introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Say, yes, I'm Nathan. I just want to just specialize in the area. Just wondering, how can we help?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Stop like wanting and just start giving. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And then all of a sudden, in 1, 2, 3 years' time, then you have avalanche of business
Mm-hmm.
that you like, this is pretty cool. And obviously we talk about system. You need to have some sort of system, because if you're trying to serve 1,000 people, there's got to be some sort of systems to follow up and follow through. Because in sales, they were saying, I think 80% of sales is done after like third or fourth phone call. And there's about only 5% of salespeople that follow through after the third phone call.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So systems, I feel like it's important. But obviously, it's like we talk about mindset today.
Mm-hmm.
It's a marathon, right? And that's why I call it a marathon, because marathon, you can run 12Ks. We did City to Surf the other day, right?
Yeah.
It's easy as 12Ks, right? You could do. You could do it. You could really do. You don't even need much training for it, right? If you're doing half marathon, if you're doing marathon, you need a strong mind.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, we say mindset is like 80% of what you do.
So when an agent, they start calling every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're doing that structure. They've got 3 hours a day where they're doing their prospecting, and like it's 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. I'm sure you've experienced this where you don't get a sale.
Uh-huh.
Do you just keep on following that system, or do you think maybe I'm not doing something right? Maybe the way I am talking to people on the phone or my script. Like, when do you start to change your approach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I'm running a training session with somebody, with one of our people, is we look at, so it's prospecting, making outgoing phone calls. Mm-hmm. We talk about connects, appraisals, listings, and then sales, right? And then we'll look at like, so you're making phone calls, but you're not connecting. Okay, maybe you're not right in they're calling the right time. Maybe when you're calling at 9 to 10, don't do that 9 to 10, call them 11 to 12. Or maybe call them after hour, do your prospecting, whatever it may be, right? To get more connects. Now you're getting more connects. Cool. Now you're not booking more appraisals. Perhaps the question that you're asking isn't connecting with people. Maybe you're wanting too much. Maybe you're not adding enough value. Mm-hmm. What we can do to say, ask the right questions, right? Mm-hmm. To be able to, I was having a chat with one of our agents the other day. Actually, I just sat down with her for like half an hour. We made some phone calls, right? Yeah. And the appointment wasn't booking. Like, the appointment wasn't connecting. It was making phone calls, but she wasn't connecting. I had a conversation with her, and I said, you know what? When you connect, rather than trying to listen to what they've got to say, and then get into what they like. Actually, have a conversation with them rather than trying to say, "Hey, if you thinking about selling, no, okay, good night, have a great one." Mm-hmm. If they say not thinking about selling, okay, what's your thoughts? Yeah. What do you think about the market? Do you have any rentals you're thinking about? Maybe want to potentially look and buy another rental, or maybe thinking about selling your rental. So connecting with people, asking the right question. Okay, now you ask the right question, and what happened was she booked two meetings right that day.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah. Like, focus on building relations. Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
So now you're connecting with people, you're talking to people, you're booking appraisals. Okay, now perhaps are you converting? Mm-hmm. So if you're not converting, what is there something we can do with listing presentation? We've got a very structured listing presentation. I do, because everything in my life is structured, right? Mm-hmm. So we've got a structure. We've got to talk about a bunch of things. Maybe we can have a conversation about, if people want to listen to a presentation, maybe we can have a chat about how my listing presentation goes.
Oh, well, definitely. We'll get into all of this.
We can talk
into detail. Yeah.
And then if you're now you're converting, maybe the negotiation needs some work. Mm-hmm. Maybe the way you talk to you're not communicating with your owners enough to give them right feedback, so they get educated, so we can sell the property within a right period of time, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe you're not following through with your buyers. So all those small things
Yeah.
needs, it's like everything, right? You know, if you've got a sports car, you
Yeah.
kind of adjust things.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you become an 8 out of 10 agent or 9 out of 10 agent, and you do very well.
It's all these micro things, right? You can't look at it like as a whole. You have to improve every aspect and still it starts working. That system starts working. But when is it that, like, say for a month you've been prospecting, when is it that you say, I need to change this? Or do you look at it on a weekly basis
Yeah.
yourself? Like, I need to connect better with this person.
Yeah.
Are you monitoring yourself weekly or monthly?
That's why I talk about, like, you know, being coachable is
Yeah.
so important, right? So for me, it's like, even back in the day, I used to have, you know, do you remember the old dictaphones? It kind of puts me
I
like,
don't think I do.
you didn't have them.
What are
It
they?
makes me feel very old in this next generation agent, huh?
Yeah.
The dictaphone, they used to have this little thing that you press the record and the play button, and then you record yourself.
Okay.
And then when I'm doing prospecting calls, I record me,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll listen to me again how I sounded.
Yeah.
And then I'll play it again. I'll recite it again. I'll make the next phone call, and okay, well, that's a little bit better.
Mhm.
Maybe I should have said this. Should have said that. And that's what I mean. Like, you know, when you've got a mentor, I'm telling you, man, everything changes. We've got somebody in your corner.
Yeah.
That can actually help you. Because it's like, yes, you can succeed, Bowie. It's and we've seen people become successful. You can succeed in 10 years' time, but I'm all about shrinking time. Why can we squeeze it? Why can we make you successful in a year, in 2 years? Because you can run the hills we have run,
Yeah.
or you can just, I'll say, man, I think you should walk this way. I'll walk there and I'll work there. I'll make a whole lot of mistakes.
Mhm.
And what I do when I'm reaching out to people, I was talking to John McGrath today, actually. Salute to him.
Your mentor.
And my mentor,
Yeah.
I was having a chat with him just before, because we're thinking about doing a couple of things here.
Mhm.
And I said, what do you think? And he gave me some advice. I'm telling you, that was like kind of like, I could have done it, and maybe it was right, maybe it was wrong,
Mhm.
but I would have found out, right, one day. And then might have been 2 years down the track. We all can just make a phone call, having a great mentor. And that's why I said, like, you know, if you've got a great person next to you that's actually helping you do things, if you're something not working for you, do it better. I'm telling you, man, I've been in the ring. I'm as you know, I'm an ex-boxer.
Mhm.
And it's so cool to have your coach in the corner, because when you come out of every round, he's like, man, you're dropping your hand down. Like, that's why you got the right hand last time, right? So put it up, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just fixing it. And then when you go up the next round, you do a lot better, because you put the hand up, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Or you can keep getting hit and get knocked out.
Just like business agents, like, you go see your mentor and they say, no, you're doing this wrong. Like, go back to doing it this way, or you need to improve this. It's exactly the same.
That's
Yeah.
the fastest way
Yeah.
to fast track success. Yes, I can read books. I love reading books, and I've got a big library. I've got an amazing library. I love being there.
Mhm.
So I love reading. I love reading books and learning, for sure. And so do you, right?
Mhm.
But I can make a phone call. It's a lot faster.
Yeah.
Okay, so mentors, books, you can do your own learnings. You can learn from your own mistakes. The fastest thing for me is like, you know, okay, like, let me go and follow this guy here, because he knows what he's doing.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, getting a mentor nowadays as well, like, you can listen to a podcast like this, you know, we can give you everything that you need. Yes, it's easier having someone by your side,
Mm-hmm.
but with the internet now, you can reach out to anyone.
That
So,
is so true.
yeah.
That is so true, because I would go to a conference. Like, unfortunately, which, you know what, one of the things that I would like to do for New Zealand real estate is to have people like this
Mhm.
that they can reach out to.
Yeah.
They can reach out to me. They can reach out to somebody else to learn. Okay, like, you know, it's like, because it's so much business. Like, it's not like, if you got the abundance mentality rather than scarcity,
Mhm.
which is our industry very well known for, then, like, to be honest, like, it's life is not that satisfying, not that fulfilling.
Yeah.
So I like to create a bunch of people. I like to have a bunch of people that just give, like, okay, you know what? Here you go. I'll give you everything. I want you to be successful.
Mhm.
I want you to be successful as much as you want. Like, when I go to conferences, as I was saying, like, you know, I go to conferences in Australia, I go to America to conferences and things and learn things. And I would see somebody like Phil Harris or Michael Clark or Amit Nayak or Con or anybody that I admire, and I just reach out to them. And majority of these good people,
Yeah.
the reason they're successful is because somebody's actually helped them, right? Just like in my case.
Yeah.
I've reached out to people, people gave me the best I can do. I can never pay people who's helped me, but the least I can do is pay it forward, if you will.
Yeah. So, like, you've had mentors, but would you say, because you're quite authentic in the way you go about things, right? And, like, if, for example, me and Tiger Woods grew up and we were both, I was following Tiger Woods' regime, we were playing golf, and I was doing exactly everything he did, he would still become more successful. And I may even not become a professional golfer, even though I did everything.
True.
So there has to be some element of your own, like, authenticity coming into it. And not just, mentors are important, but adding your own spin on things, right? And I'm sure you've done that.
I agree, man. Authenticity is so important. People used to talk about that. Y'all go to a conference, like people say, be authentic, right? I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? Seriously. But authenticity is such a beautiful thing, man. It's just like that. Like, I'm quite spiritual when I feel like I think everything is energy. So if you got this beautiful energy, and sometimes you feel it, man. I listed a property the other day, and I didn't feel right. I said, I shouldn't have listed it. And then guess what? It's complaints and complaints and complaints. We got a sale for him, and he's still complaining, unfortunately. But I had a feeling not to list it, man. I'm telling you. So now, as I'm getting wiser and older, if I don't feel like, I can work this person. I'm quite competitive, so I'm like, okay, like, this guy didn't work with 5 other agents. I want to change it. I want to help make him think that real estate agents are not all the same. But somebody else I went to, do you know what numerologist is?
No, I don't.
They kind of give you like numbers, like they do like, they look at your date of birth and they'll tell you like.
As long as they don't touch my feet, like the last person.
Tell me about your feet. What
what are they called?
Reflexologist.
Reflexologist. Yeah, just don't touch my feet.
So, right. So what I was saying, like, went to a numerologist and she was telling me that she says, listen to your guts more. Because that's where authenticity is. Because when you listen to your guts, you actually, and women are real good at, like, intuition. They've got this real good, great intuition. And she said that listen to your guts and you do very well. And it's exactly the same. Like, when people say be authentic, be real, be yourself, is just be that, like, listen to your heart. Rather than, like, our mind is always like, if I help Bowie, if I give him all of my content, he's going to be successful. He's going to try to beat me and this and that, right? That's not us.
Yeah.
If you're being real, human beings, if you go deep inside, you really want your brothers, your sisters, everybody.
Yeah.
Walk in this path to do well too, man. Like,
it's hard though. Like, society, everything gets in the way of that, right? Most people don't go with their gut. Like, they're competitive, like you said, and they just push on, and they'll take that listing when it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, man. I mean, competition is like, competition is good, but, like, if you're trying to compete and trying to walk over somebody else, I'm telling you, man, you might win that listing, but it's gonna be miserable. Like, we've seen some of the people, like, very successful in our business.
Yeah.
And they do all sort of drugs to get over those things, right? Because they got a hole within, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to be truly successful, I feel like, you got to listen to your guts, because everybody, I feel like when we were born, we were all pretty kind and sweet, and the society, like you said, kind of brainwashes us to, like, be competitive, be better than you, do better than everybody else, and the school system does that to us, right?
Yeah.
But when you go back deep inside, you're like, man, it's like, it's only one. Life is short. Like, you know what? I'm gonna be here in no time. I'll be gone.
Yeah.
And I get emotional about this, man. Thinking about this, because I feel like we think we're here forever, and the more we get, the better it is. I'm like, no, man. The more you give, the better you feel.
Yeah.
To be honest, you end up with more stuff as well.
Yeah.
Stuff don't make us happy, but you end up with stuff as well when you're authentic, when you're real, when you just give
Mm-hmm.
and help people, man.
Yeah,
Be a
I
good human.
agree, definitely. Was there like a moment in your career where were you always like this, or did like your mindset like shift? You know, I know you're a competitive person.
Yeah.
Were you one day were you just out to get the listings, and you're like, no, this is not the right way to do it?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you're, what happens, like, you know, when we start, everybody start, it's like, there is levels of like, I forgot what it was. Like, you know, you wanna be able to be safe and then be significant and be successful and significant. These levels of it, right?
Mhm.
And everybody starts like, okay, all I want is like, you know, I wanna be, I wanna feel safe and I wanna help my family and do, and then like you would just do whatever you can to get a listing, maybe. And but when you've got that, I feel like it's so important, like, you know, with the way I think my father had a huge thing to do with this. Like, he said everything you do with integrity. So integrity wasn't a problem for me. I wanted to take care of every single client that I deal with, and I do with integrity, no question about that. And you go a long way when you do that. Was I competitive? Want to get listing over you and over somebody else and over somebody else and be number one and blah blah blah? Yeah, man, I was. And then now, when I'm like, what's this competition? Like, you know, if you don't, when you like there to like, I want you to be successful. I want you to be successful, and I want to do well too.
Yeah.
So I heard this saying, you will love this. You can build these two ways to build the tallest building in Christchurch, right? The one way is to destroy every single other building, and then build your building, right?
Yeah.
The city doesn't look beautiful either because you destroyed every other building, right? And you got your little building up. Or you can let everybody else build their beautiful buildings too, and you build the most beautiful building if. Do you know what I mean? You can build the highest building if you like, but just leave everybody else's building up as well.
Everyone can
right?
win. Yeah.
Everybody can win. We can all win.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me, like, you asked the question that, like, you know, was it a time?
Was there like a moment, or like when you're like, you know what?
You know, we're talking about the mindset. It's like you add small little things to it. Like, you know, you wake up early in the morning, you do an exercise, you meditate, you read the book, small things. It didn't happen all of a sudden. It took me a little while to learn what I've learned over time. And I feel like, you know, if you got the open mind, and I would talk about, like, you know, being coachable is one of the most important traits. If you're coachable and you haven't got this, you're not arrogant to say, like, you know, who are you to tell me what to learn, or you like, you think you're better than somebody else, then everybody like to share with you, and you can learn from every single person, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen people who been successful, made a whole lot of money, and they're miserable as hell. And I've seen people who did very well and did it with integrity, and they're the happiest people on the planet.
Yeah.
And we've seen people who have got nothing, and they're pretty happy as well, right? So we think, like, the society teaches us, like, you know, the more stuff you have, the happier you are.
But people know that that's not the case. There's enough evidence out there to suggest it's not, but yet people still do it, right? Like, they still strive to get those materialistic things, and they'll do anything to get it. Yeah.
It's so true, man. I wonder how many people actually know that.
Yeah.
I think, like, you know, and, you know, people that we hang out with probably know, but most people, like, you know, they've been sold this dream that you have the next car, you're going to be happy.
Yeah.
You're going to have the next house, you're going to be happy. And it's become just a miserable chase.
Yeah.
Which is, then you're never happy, right? Because when it's like the drug, right? When you do one dose, now that one dose doesn't do it for you. You got to have two things, two of them, right? So you're absolutely spot on, man.
Yeah. Let's go into those traits that you were just talking about. Like, what do you mean by, like, audacious? It's quite a descriptive.
Yeah, audacious. I mean, like, you got to be hungry. You got to be like, you got to want to do great things. You want to do like, there's nothing wrong with being audacious, right? People think like, this guy's so audacious. I mean, I'm thinking about like, being like, you want to be the best agent on the planet.
Yeah.
You want to have the best office on earth. You want to have the most amazing real estate agency.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by being audacious. And the next one is interesting because they connect the two connect.
Yeah. Yeah. Committed. Are we on that?
Humble was a thing. Yeah, committed as well, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to be audacious. You got to be committed to be able to make those dreams come true. But being humble is so important because if you're audacious and you're not humble, you don't care about what happens. Like, that's when you were talking about before, that you would just walk over people and destroy things just because you're audacious. You want to make your dream come true, right?
Yeah.
That's why I've added humility to it as well.
Okay. Yeah, if you're not humble, you don't improve, do you? You think you're the top dog. Like,
right.
And this is what I want to get into is like when a real estate agent does start to do well, they get a few listings, they're on the billboard saying top 10 agent this month or whatever. How do you keep that in check?
Yeah.
That like ego in check? Because I bet you've seen a lot of people just get a bit out of control and they start thinking they're amazing.
It's a sad thing, man. I talk about we start believing in our own press releases.
Yeah.
Right? And then it goes to people's heads, right? And then all of a sudden they're just too arrogant to talk to. And that's why I say like, humility is a cool thing. I think yeah, doing well, nothing wrong with it. And I talk about this like all the time, man. Like, what's the point of us just bragging about how great we are? Just let the customers decide, right? Stop it. Don't even say you're number one. God damn it. Like, people don't care, really.
Yeah.
People want to know how much you care and then how good you are.
Yeah.
So, I really, the humility is being the second trait, right?
Yeah.
We talk about one of our core value here in Najib is humility, and because of I've seen so much arrogance now in our industry. Because humility is like, it's not about me, it's about you. Right? So humility is not think of yourself, think about yourself. It's not you listening to anybody else, not anybody else is more better than you, but you just being like on the same level, like, if you're making a few sales, so what? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously they did well to get there. That's the thing.
Good for them, but I think...
But people need to keep that same mindset they had when they were starting out, right?
Yeah. I tell you, there's something beautiful about humility. Like, the people that I hang out with, like the likes of Alex Jordan, he's the one of the top agents in the world. He works for John McGrath. And he's such a beautiful guy, man. And he makes, last I checked with him, we've done some podcasts with him. He did like 10 million.
Yeah.
10 million gross commission, right? But he's still humble. He's still cool, still sweet, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to be arrogant. Like, there's no need for it. No need for it. Stop it.
Stop it now. Okay. I've got a question here from Isabel, right? And this podcast probably did help her, but I just want to get your take because she mentions a mentor. Having started my real estate journey 5 months ago, I've encountered some challenges along the way, and despite having a mentor, I'm struggling to gain traction. I've tried various approaches, but haven't seen the results I hope for. I'm feeling discouraged and considering giving up.
Isabel.
Yeah.
Isabel. So Isabel took me 6 months to get my first sale, and that wasn't even my listing. It was somebody else's section that was had on the market, and I got $6,000 paid, and that was my 6 months pay. So 5 months is you're only young, so you only been in business for only 6 months. So my suggestion is, if you got a great mentor around you, you'll be, hopefully that person will guide you, will help you to do with some prospecting and working on the skills. Like, I'll tell you what, but if I start today, right, what I will do, I'll learn everything. This the podcast like this, There's these other podcasts, like John McGrath does a podcast called Million Dollar Agent. And Phil Harris does podcasts with Josh Fagan, who's a great coach.
Mm-hmm.
And Phil Harris, obviously, he owns a great, very successful real estate company in Adelaide. A friend of mine, I like to call him now.
Yeah.
So watch those things, listen to those things and learn from it. And it's just a matter of time. It's consistency. It's the system, having that system that, okay, now you've got the lead. Now it's follow up and follow through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so important. And I feel like, having a mentor that actually helps you become successful. Like, we talked about just before, like, there's a lot of people who's got a scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
They actually don't want you to be successful. So actually test your mentor, huh? How's that?
Yeah, because this is what Isabel's saying. She has a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's early days, 5 months, right?
Sure.
But it's like, yeah, how do you know they're the right mentor? And like you're saying, test them.
That's so true. We
Yeah.
talk about the T theory, right? Somebody who is the theory, who is read books.
Mhm.
That's not an ideal mentor. Oh, it's a mentor, but it's not an ideal mentor. Somebody who is application, like E is, what does E stand for? That's in T theory. Theory. It was theory. We'll share that. We'll share that with the audience.
We'll
But
get
the
that
last
for
one
you,
is
yeah.
the application.
Yeah.
Sorry, the T. So T is the first one. I got it. The first one is theory. Okay.
Yeah.
Theory means that person is somebody like, it's like university professors.
Mhm.
They've read a whole lot of books and they kind of like, yeah, they mentor, but they're not the ideal mentor.
No.
And then experience, the second one, the E, is somebody who's had work with alongside somebody who's successful, who's been successful. So yeah, it's a mentor, but not a great one.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one is the practitioner, the application mentor, what we call the person who has actually been successful for a long period of time, who's studied a whole lot of things, and also worked with successful people over and over again. So that's the ideal, what I call it, a trifactor.
Okay.
So test your mentor.
Yeah.
Not everybody, I mean, it's like, yeah, everybody could be a teacher,
Mhm.
but who's the ideal one? How do you qualify a great teacher, right?
Yeah, I think it's an important question.
I really
So
do
many
think so.
mentors nowadays. You don't know where to start.
No,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So many like, so many business coaches. Everybody's a business coach.
Mhm.
But then you're like, have you ever run a business?
Yeah.
There's so many digital marketing companies.
Yeah.
But have you been successful? Like, what makes you a qualified digital marketer, right?
Yeah.
So I think asking questions, being coachable for sure, being committed, because okay, you're committed. This mentor is not right for you. Go and find somebody else.
Yeah. Okay.
So I hope this helped, Isabel.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it did.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you want to leave the people with before we wrap this up?
So the mindset, I want to leave you with this one thing here. There's this thing called morning routine, and the majority of the top performers that I know, if I'm friends with, and the people that I've studied, they've got some sort of ritual.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I'm suggesting to anybody that wants to take on this advice is, okay, wake up early at 5 a.m. ideally,
Mm-hmm.
and do those simple things. Do a meditate for 5 minutes to start off with,
Yeah.
right? Do an exercise, sweat up,
Mm-hmm.
go for a run, go for a walk. And then when you come to the office, there's a bunch of other things that I do. I've got a morning routine before I've done in the past. You're welcome to watch that video, like, how I do. That was a long time ago, by the way.
You talked about that in episode 1, though, right?
Perhaps you can go back to watch
Yeah, a bit about your daily routine.
Yeah.
Starting at 3:30 and all the way through. You get, like you said, you do everything for you before 6:30, 7 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you're in the office to serve the clients and your people.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
man. And these challenges, like, when you're dealing with human beings, we're complex creatures, man. Like,
Yeah.
like it's interesting. There's always challenges there, right? And if you haven't got yourself right,
Mm-hmm.
how can you serve or how can you help with anybody else? Because if you haven't got yourself right, it's like somebody having having a bad day, then you take that on personally, and then you get upset now.
Mm-hmm.
So the morning routine will be the first thing I would suggest to put in your schedule. And if you want to message us or message me, send me a message or give me a text or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
we will share them our morning routine. Why don't we put my ideal week
Mm-hmm.
on below? Maybe they can download it.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that.
Let's
we'll,
do that.
We'll
So we
put
can-
Nathan's ideal week in the comment section on YouTube, and yeah,
And they can edit it however they like. And if they have any questions,
Mhm.
I'm here to serve.
I mean, I will
Yeah.
say, like, your routine's intense. Like, 1% of the population probably would do that.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said at the start of the podcast, it's about building up to that. Like right now, it's probably fairly effortless, would you say? Like getting up at 3:30 and going about your day. You've done it so many times.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's just become a habit.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think it was, I'm not sure where I heard this quote. It says, once you create your habit,
Mhm.
then your habit creates you.
Yeah.
So it's a habit now, man. It just happens every day. And like
Mm-hmm.
people say you're like this energetic, this happy, and this excited every day.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm blessed. It's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like you were saying again, is don't overload your routine straight away. Don't say, I'm going to start meditating 30 minutes. I'm going to go for a 30-minute run. I'm going to prospect for 5 hours, because you'll fail everything.
Yeah.
Just add
yeah.
something simple each month, or and then
Do it
go
for
from there.
66 days. There's a study done.
Yeah.
Do something small for 66 days, and it becomes a routine, and then
Yeah.
it becomes effortless.
Mm-hmm.
It just happens every day. It becomes your new normal.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, don't go ahead and just follow every single thing. Like
Yeah.
do it all in one day, because you will just freak out.
Yeah, you'll freak out and you won't do it. You
No.
won't be consistent.
No,
I mean, I've been there and I've tried to do that. It's like
Mhm.
just add a simple thing each week.
exactly. And you're
Um,
quite a disciplined guy. Like, you know, so I see. I'm like, man, this guy's disciplined. You do fitness, and
Mm-hmm.
you've got a great mind. And I mean, how does that happen? Not all of a sudden, right?
No, it doesn't. Like, I mean, I just add one simple thing every month, and then once I'm happy with my routine,
Mm.
I just keep consistent at that. Like, and I'm good. You know?
Absolutely. And we did not too long ago, we did a 3-day fast, and you were like, yeah, we on,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. See, that's another thing. Like, I did the 3-day fast,
Mhm.
and then I was like, how often should I do this?
Sure.
And I'm like, how will I keep consistent with this?
Good question.
Yeah, and you have to ask yourself that. And I haven't done it since,
Sure.
because you have to look at the benefit as well.
I got you.
And I know it helped you a lot, and I'm
Mhm.
sure it helped me internally a lot.
Mhm.
But I didn't add it to my routine because it would overload me.
I hear you.
You know, so yeah.
On the other hand, what I did, I'm not sure if you want to do it with me again, but I'm
I
doing.
mean, I'll do it again,
Okay.
but I want to do longer.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm doing fitness. We're doing fitness tests as a team, obviously. Next on the 12th of April,
Okay.
and I'm doing the 3-day fast. And if you are on board, you're more than welcome. I actually put it in my. Now it's a habit, though, Bobby. Like, you know, I'll put it in my calendar.
Mm-hmm.
So every quarter is 3-day fast.
Yeah.
Every quarter, from the last time I did it, and then end of the year, after Christmas, after the holiday, after everything, I do a 10-day fast. It's in calendar.
Yeah.
So now I can't run it. I can't escape
Okay,
it. I
yeah.
can't run it. So
So that's kind of your process.
that's
Like,
my process.
If it's
how-
in the calendar,
it is the
I'm
calendar.
doing it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice.
Mm.
Can't wait to go back to ice baths, I tell you. That's the best thing.
You know what?
I can't get in my freezer because of my knee, but that's the best thing I've done.
You know what? I actually haven't got to the plunger, the cold thing yet.
Yeah.
But you know what? I've just ordered me a plunger. I'm
Buy a
so
freezer.
excited.
Just buy a freezer.
Freezer could work for sure too. But I like the nice.
You want the nice one. Yeah.
No, not the nice one. I like the nice feeling of, like, you know, the water, like, you know, it's going to be water.
Yeah.
I like to have it make it like nice spiritual kind of area where I can meditate and then jump in a spa. So it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. You're welcome coming.
I reckon that will be one of the best things you've done.
I think I'm excited about it because
Like,
I do the cold shower, and I
Mm-hmm.
do the beach, jump in the cold
mhm.
water in the ocean. the cold ice bath. I put my hand in it the other day.
Yeah.
When I looked at it in the Alpine Spa. It's the marketing for Alpine Spa.
Yeah.
If anybody wants ice bath, and it was cold after like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Sitting there for 3 minutes and then
You sit there in 3 minutes in your freezer.
yeah.
Wow.
But people do 10, 15. I do 3 minutes and I feel great afterwards. Yeah.
I bet I heard this like a feel of euphoria
It
afterwards.
is.
Right?
Your endorphins are running high
I'm excited about
afterwards.
it,
And
man.
it's a natural high, like running and it takes 3 minutes to do. Even 2 minutes, like, yeah.
So those things are all great
Mm-hmm.
for physiology, right?
Yeah.
What I love about those things is the mental, the mindset,
Yeah.
man. Because I think, okay, you did a cold bath for like 3 minutes now, right?
Yeah.
How hard is it to make a cold phone call?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A cold call. You did a
Yeah.
cold plunge.
Yeah.
So,
That's true. Like, it is more for mindset. I do it for that.
100%.
Like, it was to start off with my body, and then now it's all about my mind. So it does. It helps a lot.
Too
Yeah.
good. I
All
hope
right.
we've added a bit of value to people
Yeah. Yeah.
rather than
Well,
just jibber jabbing and
Went a bit off topic, but hey, get an ice bath. Right. Yeah. We'll wrap it up there. If you do have any comments or questions for us, leave that in the YouTube comments. You can also email those to hello@najibre.co.nz. Thank you for listening. If you're on any podcast streaming services, give us a like, subscribe, support the channel. We're doing this every week. So,
I think it helps, right? Doesn't it?
it really does. It helps a lot. Share with your friends. Me and Nathan, we enjoy this.
And we're getting paid big bucks for it too, right?
Yeah, we're getting paid massive bucks for this. So, and then we got Santi, our videographer, who sets us up in the office,
Absolutely.
and he's doing a great job. So,
Santi, salute to you,
yeah,
amigo.
thank you, Santi. But yeah, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for the support, and thanks for listening to Next Gen Agent.
We look forward to the next episode, Bowie.
Nice.